Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning back in. This video is going to be over betrayal. Guys, betrayal is, of course, one of those things that's really hard to handle. There's a lot of steps that's involved with betrayal and how to move through it, how to heal from it, and how to prevent it. So, and it can cut very deeply, depending on who betrayed us. And oftentimes, especially in men today, when we experience betrayal, since we're logical thinkers, we try to answer questions. We try to understand all of the situation, right? And we try to reason with ourselves that, since this happened, I must be the problem. Unfortunately, way too many men, people in general, but way too many men these days blame themselves for the situation. And listen, guys, betrayal can come from anybody, right? Anybody at all, friends, family, intimate relationships, co-workers, bosses, whatever, right? It can come from anybody, right? The thing is that, boys, if you've been betrayed, right, whether long ago or just very recently, don't blame yourself. Please don't blame yourself, man. It was the other person's decision to actively break your trust. Actively break your trust, right? Then you have to realize that, right? So you're not the one at fault here. Now, what I will say, it's very hard, right, when you're experiencing the active, right, or excuse me, the act of betrayal, right, witnessing it physically, right? But what a lot of people tend to miss is the shit that you don't see, right? The psychological damage that's done from it, and it can really send you into a dark state, right? Because now there's all these different steps you have to take in order to be able to heal from it, right? Oftentimes you have to get over the shock, and sometimes you're numb for a little bit. And trust me, you want to feel something, but your body's natural reaction to that is to just shut down and not feel anything, right? And that's how you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that what happened to you was traumatic, right? So, that being the case, look, eventually you'll come out of it. You'll come out of the numbness, right? The shock of it all, and then, whether you skip the denial phase or not, oftentimes you do go through the denial, right? Sometimes these orders will be switched around, the denial and shock, right? Or sometimes they'll go hand in hand. It just depends on the situation. And then, guys, what's really important, right, is that you find a healthy coping mechanism for the steps of dealing with anger and or sadness, right? That's going to be the hardest part to deal with, right? And then you have to learn to accept things for what they are, right? And this is a little bit of a recap of forgiveness, that I was talking about a couple videos ago. Or maybe it was last video. Anyways, it was one of my previous videos. Go check it out. Understanding the situation, moving through, right? What it calls for to heal, right? To truly heal. Accepting the situation for what it is, and then, like I said, getting to a place to where all those negative emotions are out of the way, right? And then you can move on with your life. Now, the thing is that, right, you understand how to heal from betrayal, right? And how to move on, but how do you prevent it, right? And, this is where experience comes in handy, right? Guys, I'm no stranger to betrayal. I'm not. I hate to say it, but I'm not. I've been betrayed by friends, family, this nation with, being kicked out for refusing the vaccine, and then pretty much forgotten about. So, I've been betrayed a lot. I have, right? So if there's anyone that knows about betrayal, it's me. And, when someone betrays you, guys, you have to cut them off right then and there. Absolutely. And a lot of the times you can see red flags before it happens, right? Maybe someone makes plans with you and they fall through, right? Without telling you, they don't tell you what's going on, and you have to reach out to them, right? I've had that happen a couple times, and cut them off, man. Cut them off, because it's a lack of respect, and as much as it hurts to walk away, right, to cut them off, I'm telling you, it's going to hurt even worse, right, if you keep them around, right? Why would you keep someone around that thinks it's okay to keep betraying you like that, Often one of the hardest parts is telling people to leave their lives. Yeah, I know that one too. I've walked away from my own mother, for what she did, for betraying me. So, they cross those boundaries, and you got to cut them off. That's no questions, nothing. That's it. It's either that, or you let them know next time this happens, it's done, right? You have to be able to put your foot down, right? You have to have that courage to set boundaries, and oftentimes that's really hard to do, because oftentimes when you set boundaries, right, or rules, that's when people leave. But then again, can you really call them family, friends, intimate relationships if they do that? No, I don't say so. Not at all. Those are people that just wanted to take advantage of you in the first place. So, boys, just keep that in mind as you're moving through your day to day. Look out for these things. Does it seem like they actually have your best interest at heart, right? And it's one of those things that, experience will really tell you, their story, what they're going to do. So then don't ever focus on what someone says. Not at all. Always focus on what they do. Okay. What they do is going to be the truth. What they say, they can lie to you. So always focus on what people do. And if they cross that, I cannot emphasize this point enough. If they cross those boundaries, right? That's why I've been hitting on it so much. Cut them off. A lot of guys these days, they get stuck in these situations where the family treats them like crap. The girlfriends or wives, they treat them like crap. Or friends treat them like crap, and they just stick around. Look, why would you want to keep yourself in an environment like that? You can find better friends. You absolutely you can, right? I've been around terrible friends, right? I have, and I've left those situations because I'm not going to be talked to like that. 2, I'm not going to be treated this way. It's that simple, guys. It's that simple. If they can't respect you or your time, that's it. It's done. And that goes for everything, right? I used to work as a sales representative, and I went through some training to get onto the floor to sell, to sell, and was doing a great job, putting up the same numbers as my coworkers that were there for a year. Relatively new store. Besides the point, a new year had started, and I wasn't even 4 months into the job, and there was some new annual training that had to come around. Right, I had already did this training not 4 months prior. Right, I said 4 months, but I think it was. I don't think it was even 4 months yet. And my boss wanted me to redo the training, the exact same training. And I said, no, that doesn't make any sense. That's a waste of my time. I've already done this training, right? And it's annual training, so I can just do it next year, right? Well, apparently no. And I said, well, since you guys want to waste time, I'm not doing it. I said, okay, cool. You can sit me home. All right. I knew it was going to be a matter of time before they fired me. So what I did was I just quit, right? Because look, that's a waste of time. It's a huge waste of time. It's a huge waste of time, and it doesn't make sense, right? So then these people, they're not going to have your back, not at all, right? Because they're going to go to corporate. They're going to tell you, they're going to tell them that you were lazy, that you had no motivation, that, better go ahead and let him go. That way, we can replace him with someone who's a good little boy, and does whatever, the company tells him to do. Right. So, just a little bit of a personal experience there with work. Cause a lot of guys just take it at work too, because, you're there to gather resources, right? And everybody needs resources, so might as well just stick it out. Look, guys, there are way too many toxic environments when it comes to work, right? It's one of the reasons why I would much rather work for myself instead of working the 9 to 5. There aren't any healthy 9 to 5s anymore. It's all work until you're dead, right? And then, if you don't gossip with everybody else, and if you don't shut up and do what you're told, then, you will be miserable. And, that's no way to live, man. It's really no way to live. But neither is living with betrayal, right? And staying in that environment. So, guys, take care of yourselves. All right. Recognize the signs when they're there, right? And be willing. Okay. Listen to me. Be willing to put your foot down when you have to. Okay. And, always just build the courage, right? To walk away when you have to walk away. Right. It hurts, yes, but it's going to hurt way less than it is if you continued in this environment, this relationship, whatever. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here. We're kind of on time. So appreciate you guys tuning in. If you happen to learn anything from this, please like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate that. Guys, look, I don't have it all figured out, but it's the whole point of this channel, right? To come together and figure it out together. So if you guys happen to have anything that you would like me to talk about, just let me know in the comments. Guys, we just hit 100 subscribers. I'm blown away. I'm blown away, guys. You guys have been very engaged. Some good, some bad, right? Which, makes sense. I welcome all of it, right? I'm not always right. I make sure to let you guys know that I make mistakes too. So those mistakes that I do, make sure you guys are correcting me, just in a respectful way, obviously, but, The whole point is to come together and build each other up. That's the whole point, right? So, and you guys have been killing it. Really, you guys have been killing it, you know. And I appreciate you guys so much. I also I made a post, you know, showing you guys that what I'm working on right now was a pretty cool project. It's a Halo diorama. I do a lot of Halo content on my other channel at Scappa, and so, you know, if you guys want to see that, you're more than welcome to go and check it out. But appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, boys, take care of each other and take care of yourselves, right? Both up here and physically. I just got back from the gym myself. So, you know, you want to prolong your life as much as possible. You know, look at life as a glass half full, not a glass half empty. All right, excuse me, not a glass half empty. Okay, and that, I'm telling you, it'll change your life. So, that being said, appreciate you guys tuning in, and talk to you soon.